Hi guys, Pestilly here and welcome to another Pestilly Unmasked video. Today I'm going to be talking about why I'm in quarantine and the whole process that it's been from getting from the Netherlands back to Australia during this whole COVID situation. And it's been a bit of a journey, but we're nearly at the end of it, I guess. And I'm looking forward to getting back home to Adelaide to my papa. So, without further ado, let's crack straight into it. First up, we left the Netherlands about 4 days ago. It took about 24 to 30 hours in transit. Initially, we flew from Amsterdam Airport into Singapore and then Singapore down to Perth. The process was fairly straightforward in the Netherlands. They just have like a lot of signs saying social distancing, keep your distance, and wear a mask. Once you get past the check-in stage, you have to be wearing a mask at all times. And then we boarded our flight. Our flight had about 60 people in total. It's the first time I've ever flown business class. There wasn't actually a lot of seats allocated to get home. There was actually more flights with business class available than not. So that's why, we had multiple reasons why we picked business, but luggage being a major one of them because we're moving back. But yeah, so there was about 30 people in business and about 30 people in economy. We flew into Singapore. Before we got off the plane in Singapore, they pretty much said if your last location is Singapore, come off, you have to leave the plane first. And then they escort those people to the actual customs and all that side of things. And then we got off the plane, everyone who was transiting to a further location. And then we were escorted to a waiting area, like an isolation area. It was actually really well done how they did it. So we pretty much went to a waiting area. It was like a lounge kind of thing. They had chairs and some TVs and some drinks available pretty much. And we waited there. And then when our next flight was available, they escorted us to the next flight. And that made it so that everyone leaving Singapore was able to use the airport just like normal. So only the people that were transiting through, so it had come from other countries, they had to be isolated. But people that were leaving Singapore and they begun their journey from Singapore, they actually got to use the airport like normal. So that was pretty well done on that side. Then we got to Perth. We boarded our plane. Same situation again, about 30 people in business, 30 in economy. We flew into Perth and it was very similar. We got off the plane and there was no transiting to other international flights from there. So you pretty much had to go through customs that way. So they asked us a few questions. We cleared customs, got all our bags. They checked our temperature and all those kind of things. And then they said that we're getting allocated a hotel for 2 weeks, which we knew this process was going to happen anyway. So if someone was new to that, that'd be a bit of a shock. But you have to go to a hotel for 2 weeks on arrival to Australia. So from there, they tell you which hotel you're going to, and then you have a interview with a police officer. The police officer pretty much asked us what our intentions were post going to the hotel and just, where we'd been and, who we'd been traveling with and all that kind of stuff. Kind of keep a bit of a record of your journey. And from there, they pretty much escort you to a bus. There were 6 buses, so about 8 people on each, 8 to 10 people on each. And then the buses were escorted to the hotel. And we, got to the hotel, had a room designated to us. I was very lucky that we were in the process of trying to figure out who was running the whole show for WA, and we got lucky enough to actually find out what hotel we were going to just before we actually flew into the country. So I actually got someone to call up and say, hey, this is my situation. I'm a content creator, streamer, and if there's any opportunity for get a suite allocated, we're happy to pay for it. And they said, no worries. So that's why I got a little bit of a bigger room. I was lucky with that. But I've got like 6 suitcases. I brought 2 computers back. I got all my camera gear. Everything was ready to stream when I got back. So it was going to be a journey to get it all sorted, but we got there. So got to the hotel, and I'll tell you the process of the hotel, because this is where everyone seems to ask me the most amount of questions. Do I have to pay for it? Yes. It's $180 a night for the first person, and then $60 a night for any additional person in your room. So it's $240 a night for my wife and I, and we're here for 15 days. So you don't include the first day. The first day you arrive to the hotel, that's technically day 0, and day 1 is actually the next day that you wake up, and they do a COVID test on the first day of your stay here. So 14 days in the hotel, you get 3 meals a day. They're actually been pretty good, pretty meaty sized meals, I guess. Might be able to get some pictures up for you and that. And then So breakfast, lunch, and tea, and then you just open your door and you put your your leftovers or your rubbish outside the door, and they come later on in the day to pick up all your rubbish. You're not allowed to leave your room. You're not allowed to have any visitors. And if you want to have Uber Eats or have any stuff delivered, you can get it delivered. You just got to organise to get it delivered to the reception and make sure that they know which room you're in, and then you can have stuff sent up to your room. So that's how I got my monitors here, because I wasn't going to fly with monitors. So monitors, green screen, and all that. Some friends from Perth delivered to me, which was really awesome. And then from that process there, it's literally just a waiting game. You do another test on day 11, and then we can leave after that. So it's pretty interesting. It's kind of lucky that I got a job that I can, as long as I've got internet. By the way, the internet here is a 30 down, 30 up connection. So it's just good enough to stream on and make some YouTube content. So I'm really happy about that. I did have some backup plans with mobile data and mobile internet plans and stuff. So that was what I was going to do if it didn't go to plan. But we're making it work. So for us, after we get out of quarantine, we're actually driving back to South Australia. It's about 3,000 kilometers or 3,500 kilometers. So I think we're going to take 4 or 5 days to get back there. But it should be a bit of fun. And that is pretty much it. So this has been a constant question on my stream, on my live stream, and you guys have been wanting to know all this information. So I thought I'd just chuck it in a video, let you guys get the goss, and yeah, we'll be able to, get through this journey with some Tarkov content and playing some games. I have so many good ideas for this channel. I've got a lot of fun. I actually did an interview with Stone Mountain 64 last night, a podcast, and I actually want to start doing interviews instead of podcasts, where I actually interview people, and I'm going to get you guys to ask the questions. So, like I say, hey, I've got Stone Mountain 64. I'm going to interview, what questions would you want to know? And I'm going to try and pick all the random ones that you guys I don't know. What did you have for breakfast 3 days ago and stuff like that? Just to mix it up. Because I think with podcasts, they're all coming, you can kind of hear very similar stories and patterns and that. And I just want to have some fun with it. This channel's all about just having some fun. So if you've got any good ideas for content and that, and you want to chuck it down below, feel free. And I'm definitely taking notes of all the videos and that. I'm trying to put out probably maybe 1 to 2 videos a week on this channel. It's a bit of a place for me to just, unload anything inside my brain and just put it out to you guys. So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy that. But as for this video, that is it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the more chilled version of me, just talking about life and the universe and what's been going on. And I'm excited to get out of quarantine and get back into fishing and seeing my dog and just living the dream, But anyway, guys, usual drill. If you are new to the channel or that, make sure you do subscribe, hit the notification bell. It really does help out. Comments, likes, it helps with the discoverability of any channel on YouTube. If you like anyone's videos, doesn't have to be mine, anyone's across YouTube, make sure you like, make sure you comment on it. It does, even if it's just commenting for the YouTube algorithm, it really does help out. And yeah, lastly, guys, I'll see you next time.